Hello there, welcome back to another review. So today we're going to be carrying on with the Yokai Monsters box set from Arrow Video. Our previous entry was 100 monsters, and today we're going to be looking at the second movie, and that is Spook Warfare, made all the way back in 1968 and directed by Yoshiyuki Kuroda. And these movies were from the same studio that brought us the Zatoichi movies and the Gamera films. Now, like I said, I knew nothing about these movies, but I saw the box set from Arrow and I just had to pick it up as curiosity got the better of me. I knew absolutely nothing about these movies going in, as I've always had an interest and fascination with anything Japanese as well as horror and monster movies. I had to pick this up because, as I say, I just thought surely the two must go hand in hand. I've got to check these films out and see what they're all about. Now, this film here, one could argue, is the most like film of the original trilogy, and the film that even got a loose remake with Takashi Miike's The Great Yokai War. And many have said as well that even Studio Ghibli's Ponpoko that I reviewed previously has some kind of same idea and themes of this movie. Now, the best way to describe these movies are sort of horror, fantasy, fairy tales sort of for kids, right? Horror monster movies done light, so to speak. You have to take into account the time these movies were made as well. The costumes, effects and all the creatures and monsters you see, I think for the most part are very, very well done for a film of this era and for the time as well. Plus, if nothing else, you can tell there is a real effort with this movie. Like, the filmmakers are really applying themselves here. I think, as I say, if you like me and have an interest in anything like Japanese culture, like anything like that, you will find loads to enjoy with this movie. I think as well, if you're like if you're after your monster action, you do get a bit more bang for your buck in this movie rather than what you did in the previous 100 monsters. But there is a playfulness to these movies, almost an innocence to them. You know, to the uninitiated or people that won't give these movies a chance, they probably would say the costumes are silly, this is idiotic, it's aimed at 5-year-olds, but there is a charm to these movies, especially for the time and the novelty of being able to watch these classic odd bizarre movies, having it on Blu-ray now thanks to Arrow Video. I mean, it's great, it's nice having them on my shelf. Like I mentioned, knew absolutely nothing about them. Now, if I can go into these movies and just know nothing about them but still enjoy them and just accept them for what they are, then you really should as well, as I say, because they are worth checking out. As I say, if you're into sort of anything Japanese, if you want sort of some classic Japanese movies, things that are a bit playful in nature and that are innocent, that do have sort of Japanese classic monsters like from their mythology and things like that, you really should check these films out. I say really well done, if nothing else, because visually for the time and the resources they had, they are exceptionally well done. It's creepy, it's odd, it's silly, it's done really well, and like I say, just switch your brain off and enjoy the films for what they are. Now, as I say, I know very little about Japanese mythology, so I hope you guys can give me a break throughout the course of this review if I pronounce things wrong, say things wrong, or God knows what else. I do apologise in advance if I say the names wrong, so yeah, just forgive me on that one. So we learn about this monster who thousands of years ago started hibernated in sort of some Babylonian ruins. The film opens, dare I say it, in quite a high budget way, with these two robbers sort of awakening what lies in the ruin, and it's sort of done really well with the lighting and the destruction that happens here and takes place as this bird-like monster appears, only tainted by the wires, of course, lifting him up when he goes to leave. Meanwhile, this ship gets destroyed in a storm, and what is great about this movie is the atmosphere is absolutely perfect, like the wind, the rain, the storm, it all adds to the movie. Then the monster sort of attacks this Lord Magistrate who is just fishing, and it's quite eerie the way it's shot and the way the monster Daimon sort of appears. Anyway, he bites him like Lord Dracula style, complete with blood and everything. I love how his sword gets shattered then assembled sort of after he leaves. He returns home, he's obviously not himself, and this, for the first thing he does is kill the dog, right? As soon as he gets home, the first thing he does is kill the dog. He destroys this shrine altar they have and is against God and Buddha. His daughter Lady Chi is like, something must have happened, you could be right there, because I don't think that's the same guy, that you once knew. She's like, something must have happened. It's like, you know what, you could be right. So then this duck-like monster comes out of a pond and sees this lord as the monster, killing one of the help and a clone of the monster entering his body. So now he is possessed as well. The pond creature who we've just met is called Kappa, by the way, the water imp, and he is like, I don't care what kind of apparition you are, but this is my territory. So to take him out, all he starts doing is sort of charging headbutts at first, right? Okay, yeah, so it's sort of like a comedic battle, if not always unintentionally. Kappa runs off and the monster turns back to the Lord. Kappa then meets all the monsters from the first movie, like the one-eyed hopping umbrellas. Is it Kasa Abaki and the long-neck woman, I want to say Rokubi? Is that how you say the name? I have no idea, so please forgive me if I've said it wrong. And he sort of wants them to help defeat Diamond, but they won't help him as they don't believe him at first. Now, the film is definitely a lot more menacing and has a lot more, dare I say, scary imagery than the first film. And to be honest, if I was watching this film for the first time when I was young, I might have been a bit scared too. As I say, there is actually some bloodshed in the movie, but I think if I was watching this when I was younger, say 6-7-year-old me, I might, probably might have been scared, but I'd have been into it. Like I've mentioned a bunch of times before, like a movie like Return to Oz, watching it for the first time when I was really young, absolutely scared the hell out of me, but at the same time, I was absolutely loving it. So Lady Chi, maid Shinobu, gets killed too. Shinpachiro, a samurai, is all suspicious and finds her with like sort of blood on her. He's like, his uncle is like, look, a demon is at work here and it's drinking blood too, like to extend its life. And it's not so much he's taken over the magistrate, this Diamond, rather he's sort of disguised as him. So he even gives he gets given some candles to trap the demon, so he uses them, and after starting the ritual, the uncle gets like burnt to a crisp. So these two children escape after their parents are killed and run into Kappa and his monster friends and want their help. We get some silly shenanigans with our umbrella monster playing some tricks on these guards. So our ghosts sort of sneak in, pretending to be some guards who have kidnapped some children, and after playing some tricks on them with a woman who can sort of reverse her head, they take over the appearance of some captives, then confront Diamond. And after a sort of little scuffle, our demon sort of reveals his true form. I'd say I'm sort of crashing through the film here, but say please forgive me. So I'd say basically he's been disguised as this magistrate and everything, but then at the end, after a little scuffle, our demon sort of reveals his true form. Our crew of monsters don't do all that well, and Shinpachiro sort of tries to help. The monsters get trapped in this like life vessel, like this jar, as like our samurai shoots an arrow into the demon's eye, which he turns back into the magistrate's corpse. So no sooner does a new magistrate arrive, and he gets bitten and taken over too. Right? And his first agenda is to arrest Shinpachiro right away for murdering the previous magistrate. I mean, God, these evil monsters and these demons, I tell you, they are just so damn crafty. Even his own daughter is like, nope, it was an apparition that killed my father, but of course no one wants to know. So the woman with two heads and our umbrella monster go to get Lady Chi to remove a tag that is keeping our hero monsters. If you recall, they're sealed away in this vessel, in this jar. The plan is to get more forces so they can basically all attack Diamond at once. Basically his eyes, his weak spot apparently. So during the final battle, Diamond goes back to true form mode and splits himself into several clones, right? They try and give it the end battle sort of a unique spin. They do this thing where he sort of splits himself into several clones. The good ghosts and monsters march on him, and despite its silliness, there is an actual overall sense of spookiness and eeriness to the movie. They jab Diamond in the eye, but that's no good. Then they need to attack the real one, you see, because he's got the clones, they've got to attack the real one. And it's not really like huge effects or choreography here in the showdown. It's just our monsters just having sort of these mini scuffles and wrestles. If you picture in some of the Godzilla movies, that's sort of what's going on here. It's not so much like the fight scenes are really, really, really choreographed. It's almost like the director just said, okay, just start fighting. And then just started rolling the camera. Then basically the real Diamond grows absolutely massive, like Godzilla in size, and now they manage to jab him in the eye, so it's not like they could miss it. And I do love the film, as I say, for its silliness, goofiness, and its almost like childlike approach, but it really like I mentioned, it really does border on, there's quite some violent moments in the film at times. Like I say, there's quite a bit of blood in the movie, so if you are going to watch this with your kids, just be warned. But as I say, because of the silliness and the nature of the film, you could probably let it pass. Diamond goes into this pool of water which turns red, then he sort of flies away and Kappa emerges from the water. Our good monsters disappear, the sun comes up, we see the victims of Diamond, Shinpachiro and Lady Chi turn up. Happily they defeated Diamond as our monsters skip off slowly and disappear across the land. But I really crashed through that review there, but I really enjoyed it. My only annoyance is I wish I would have seen this movie, like I mentioned, when I was little, as I think it's a movie I would never have forgot. I think if I'd have seen this, if I was under anything under 10, I probably would have absolutely lapped it up. I probably would have been on repeat viewings in my house when I was younger. But as I say, I think it would have steadily become one of my favourites. But that's the great thing in this time, like, it's like there are many movies that are getting released, when like getting the special Blu-ray treatment, getting the special editions that have never seen the light of day. And it's thanks to companies like Arrow, like Eureka, like 88 Films that we are getting these films, if very slowly and almost drip fed to us, but we are slowly but surely getting a lot of these classic movies. And like I mentioned, I'd never even heard of these movies. I had no idea they even existed. But let me know what you think of Spook Warfare or any of the Yokai Monster movies, as I would love to hear your guys' thoughts. If you have picked up the box set, what is your favourite of the original trilogy from the box set from Arrow Video? Because I think everybody, if you have seen these movies, I think everybody prefers, it's all subjective, isn't it? I mean, I think everybody's got a different favourite, but I think Spook Warfare, by and large, from what I've seen and read and heard, I think isn't that meant to be sort of the high point of the original trilogy? I'm not too sure, but I absolutely love this movie. If you haven't seen it, go and check it out for something weird, silly, goofy, and very, very different. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the review, and I'll see you again soon.
Don't concentrate on the finger, or you will miss all that heavenly glory.